I think a good way to gain confidence quickly is to admit the fact that you don't know everything.
Is that sort of humility?
That is humility. If you want to be confident, you got to be humble. And then when you're humble, then you are more confident because you're okay with not knowing that I don't know how to do this, or I'm not sure of myself right now, or I'm lacking confidence. So I'm going to pretend to be confident. I think that's problematic.
What's your advice for how people can be more confident in their decisions in life? Like, where does confidence come from, in your opinion?
I think confidence comes from, well, clearly some of it comes from experience, but I think one of the most profound things that you can do to become more confident is to become okay with saying, yeah, I'm not exactly sure what to do right now. And if you can say that, all of a sudden the world becomes just a lot easier. And, if we're in a meeting and we've got some, a project that we're going to get started on, and it's something I've never done before, and I'm the boss, and I say, hey, Chris, I'm not really sure what to do right now. Well, that's okay. And you go, well, actually, at my old company, we did the same thing. So let's make this move. And I go, okay, that sounds like a good place to start anyways. And so now we get started. Whereas if I come in and I'm like, I don't want Chris to know that I don't know how to do this, or I'm not sure of myself right now, or I'm lacking confidence, so I'm going to pretend to be confident. I think that's problematic. So I think, look, no one knows everything. No one makes all perfect decisions. No one understands every element of the world. So I think a good way to gain confidence quickly is to admit the fact that you don't know everything, and just be okay with saying, yeah, I'm not really sure what to do here.
Does that lower the pressure, lower the bar of self-expectation?
Absolutely. I think it lowers the bar of self-expectation, not to a negative point where it's like, oh, I've got low expectations of myself. But if I was to be coming up here to sit down with you and have this talk, and I was thinking, what if he asked me about something I don't know about? What am I going to do? And I'd be a little bit panicked. And then you'd ask me about car racing, Formula One racing, right? Which we were talking about before we started this. And now all of a sudden you said, well, hey, in Formula One, the drivers do this. What do you think of that protocol? And I was like trying to formulate in my head, pretend like I know what I'm talking about, when I don't. So instead I just say, oh yeah, I don't know anything about car racing. So you tell me. And that means the whole drive up here to come and sit down with you and get interviewed by you, instead of me being paranoid that you might ask something I don't know about, and my confidence is now shaken, instead I'm rolling in here like, oh yeah, if he asks me some stuff I don't know about, I can say, oh yeah, I'm not really 100% sure about that. What do you know? Or what's your opinion?
That's liberating.
I think it's very liberating.
Is that sort of humility?
Yes, I think that is humility.
Yep.
And it's something that you get, when you're in the military, you can be in charge of people that have more experience than you. And if that makes you uncomfortable, oftentimes people flex to try and act like they know more than they do, when it's like, oh yeah, you've run these kind of operations before, Chris. Why don't you take lead on this? Okay. I'm the senior guy. I'm the boss, but I say, hey, Chris, you've already run these type of operations. Why don't you take lead on this? No big deal. Does your respect for me go down, or does it go up?
Goes up. Exactly.
As opposed to me saying, here's what we're going to do, Chris. And I don't know what I'm talking about. And you can clearly see this because you've done it 25 times and I'm an idiot. So yeah, I would say be more humble and you'll be more confident.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that idea that unconfidence comes from you positioning your level of expertise higher than it actually is.
Yeah. And there's like a whole cycle too, because it's almost like a circular thing, because if you want to be confident, you got to be humble. And then when you're humble, then you are more confident because you're okay with not knowing. I had some guy ask me, it was about meeting girls. Like, it was a guy who wanted to go out and meet girls, and he was lacking confidence. And he's like, I'm 27 years old or whatever it was. I really want to meet my mate, and I'm searching and I'm going out. And I said, well, first of all, if you walk up to a girl with the expectation in your mind that this could be the one. I mean, imagine the crazy pressure you're putting on yourself.
A little bit of performance anxiety there. Yeah.
You're going to act like an idiot. And I said, man, just go up and expect that what she's going to say is like, when you say hi to her, hopefully she'll say hi back, and maybe she won't. And if she doesn't, no big deal. Like, that's where you set the bar. And that's going to make you, it's going to make you perform a lot better in that scenario. You know, there's another interesting thing I was talking about lately, and we were just talking about bow hunting. And I had this thing where somebody asked me about like how to actually execute in the moment and get your mind right when you have to perform. And I never really thought about this before. And I actually thought through my whole life and what my attitude was. And if you need to perform, you need to be very, very humble. And like, if I've got an event that I've got to do, I've got a mission that I've got to do, I've got to train, I've got to prepare, I've got to plan. And all of that is driven from humility, right? I don't think I'm ready, so I'm going to prepare more. I'm going to rehearse more. I'm not thinking clearly about what the enemy will do, so I need to come up with a better plan. Like, I'm going to be very humble, and I'm going to therefore prepare very hard and very extensively. But at the moment I put my night vision goggles on and I lowered them down over my eyes, there's like a switch that goes off that I am 100% going to win. And where the reason this ties into bow hunting is I was up at one of the total archery challenges. If you haven't been to one of those, go to one of those. They're really cool. They set up all these 3D targets all over, usually ski mountains, and you shoot, and it's cool. It's a lot of fun. A bunch of awesome people there. And I had just gone through this answer to somebody about how to actually execute in the moment. And I realized you go up to take a shot. Like, first of all, going to tack or going hunting, you're training all the time because you don't want to miss the shot. You got to be humble. You know how hard it is. You're going to be out of breath. The pressure's going to be on. And so you got to train, prepare. But when you get up there and you like knock your arrow onto your bow, you've just got to be like, oh, I'm going to slay this right now. And I started consciously thinking about that at tack. And tack's really, they set up courses that are shots that are totally ridiculous. And, you know, you can lose 5, 8, 10 arrows hitting rocks and trees and everything else. Yeah. And I went up with that attitude, and I shot the whole course with one arrow, which is, look, is there luck involved? Yes, there's luck involved. But still, it's like that attitude of, hey, I'm walking up, I've trained, but now I'm going to just go slay this thing. And all that performance anxiety is gone. You go up, get confident. Yeah, I'm going to punch this thing right through that target. No factor. And you do it. And I think that's a good thing to think about when it comes to execution. Like, yes, be humble, be prepared. But when you knock that arrow, or you put your night vision goggles on, or you step into that meeting to do that presentation, you should be like, oh, I'm about to slay this right now.
How do you avoid the humbleness and the humility turning into performance doubt?
Because I think it has to be a conscious decision that you make, that when you go in there, and for me, again, it was very almost like getting into character, right? Like, I'm knocking this arrow, or I'm putting my night vision goggles down. That's the switch. I'm going. You know, you go on stage now, right? So, hey, do you prepare prior to? Yeah, you're like, oh, I got to do my notes and get everything set up. But when you walk out on stage, like when you put that mic on, you should be like, all right, it's go time, and I'm gonna slay this situation that I'm going into.
I wonder whether this is part of the advantage of Beyonce's got an alter ego for on stage. Mm-hmm. Kobe, alter ego for on the court.
Oh, 100%.
And I wonder whether that allows the humility in practice, sort of godliness in performance. Have you ever seen the Facebook post that Kobe put after he ruptured his Achilles? Mm-hmm. I'm going to read this. It's so fucking good. Yep. This is such BS. All the training and sacrifice just flew out of the window with one step that I've done millions of times. The frustration is unbearable. The anger is rage. Why the hell did this happen? Makes no damn sense. Now I'm supposed to come back from this and be the same player or better at 35? How in the world am I supposed to do that? I have no clue. Do I have the consistent will to overcome this thing? Maybe I should break out of this rocking chair and reminisce on the career that was. Maybe this is how my book ends. Maybe Father Time has defeated me. Then again, maybe not. It's 3:30 a.m. My foot feels like a dead weight. My head is spinning from the pain meds and I'm wide awake. Forgive my venting, but what's the purpose of social media if I won't bring this to you? No real image. Feels good to vent, let it out, to feel as if this was the worst thing ever. Because after all the venting, the real perspective sets in. There are far greater issues and challenges in the world than a torn Achilles. Stop feeling sorry for yourself, find the silver lining, and get to work with the same belief, same drive, and same conviction as ever. One day, the beginning of a new career journey will commence. Today is not that day. If you see me in a fight with a bear, pray for the bear. I've always loved that quote. That's Mamba mentality. We don't quit, we don't cower, we don't run, we endure and conquer. I know it's a long post, but I'm Facebook venting, lol. Maybe now I can actually get some sleep and be excited for surgery tomorrow. First step of a new challenge. Thank you for all your prayers and support. Much love always. Mamba out. Kobe Bryant, 13th of April, 2013.
Yeah. 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 And I bet, again, he's a great example. He wasn't walking around arrogant thinking, hey, I'm so good that I don't need to practice. No, he was the opposite, practicing more than anybody else. And that way, again, going into the game, give me the ball. Give me the ball. It's clutch time. It's go time. Give me the ball. I'm going to make this. And that's the same with Jordan, same with Larry Bird. Like, you look at the greats, they all practiced insane. They were insane when it came to practice. They tried to beat everyone at practice. They'd stay after practice. And when game time came, they would, first of all, talk smack, right? Larry Bird was famous for talking smack, but give me the ball because they know that they can make the shot.